Excitement filled the hallways of Virginia Wesleyan University Wednesday morning.
This is an exciting day,
and we are very excited.
All the buzz surrounded the teamwork between the 5 Southside cities and universities.
I want to congratulate the Hampton Roads region on today's milestone.
I am proud of the way our region has come together to take this first step to connect the Hampton Roads fiber ring.
Together, they announced the regional ring. It's about 100 miles of fiber optic connections stretching to all 5 cities from the transatlantic cable landings. The landing is located in Virginia Beach and gets its electronic fibers from Spain and Brazil. Officials say the new government network will cut internet costs and bolster business.
It's really going to help with economic development.
This is a benchmark. This is great that everybody has come together to make this happen.
The broadband project manager, Jeffrey Biku, says this fiber optic path will distribute the power of high-speed data delivery to all of Hampton Roads.
Doing the design is easy. Actually putting it all together and getting the collaboration is the hard part.
He says the new connections will give people triple the amount of data in comparison to big cities like New York. Right now, there's no set date for setting up this fiber network, though the main connection is already at Corporate Landing. Biku says the next step is doing a cost analysis for how much money the project will need, then finding someone who can do the project. But having the layout for the installation, teamwork, and tools is a big step forward.
It actually will tie the fiber cables from Virginia Beach and Norfolk.
In Virginia Beach, Megan Shin, 13 News Now.